Hi, I'm Annie.
And I'm Kevin.
And we're Overcommitted. Hello,
That was
friend.
good. That was a little too...
Slow?
No, we'll keep it.
Okay.
It was a little easy listening hosting.
Delilah
is Overcommitted. Thanks for joining us this evening. Hope you're enjoying your night, maybe on a nice drive.
Fall asleep behind the wheel of your car. Anyway. Hey, bud, you had a live show last week.
I had a live show.
It was exceptional. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Proud of Evan, too.
Great job, Evan.
Yeah.
It was a really fun show. Thank you to anyone and everyone who came out.
I thought you were thanking me specifically for coming out.
I said thanks to everyone for coming out.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be a personal thank you.
I just really want to take this time to thank my wife. She didn't have to.
Oh my God, why would you thank me? Where else would I be?
With the kids.
Right, that's true. Thankfully,
you would have given me a
friend babysitter.
I've seen it.
I did see it a couple times before. You know, it was much better on stage.
A little more energy.
A little more energy on a stage in front of 100 people than in our living room.
It was a fun show. I was very nervous, but it went well.
You did not seem a tad bit nervous. I will say I was not looking forward to it. I don't like to watch people be nervous.
Yeah.
It stresses me out. We've talked about it before. Like,
that's why I hate watching improv.
We love improv. That's what I was going to say. But like going to see a friend do improv is kind of a nightmare because you can feel nerves coming out of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that feeling. When someone miraculously doesn't experience any, you're like, oh my God, this was so fun.
Yeah, improv is tough because I'm happy to pay $20 a ticket for improv because then it's going to be a professional team that knows what they're doing.
And probably doesn't get nervous anymore.
Yeah, when you see your friends, you laugh when they say something funny, but it's out of like more relief.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, thank God. Okay, fine. Yeah. Ooh, okay. And then you hope they maintain it. And then because you and I are improvisers, and this is true of
very
any
long
improvisers.
Ago improvisers, but sure.
Yeah. I don't have any confidence in myself doing it.
You've improvised in the last 5-6 years. I haven't improvised in
I did the Groundlings and
15 years.
But even that, like those shows, like I have for my writing lab show at the Groundlings, we did an improv scene that I don't think I'll ever forget. It was so bad.
Sure.
It was such a catastrophically terrible scene.
You're just saying things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember everyone had a bad improv scene.
Yeah.
It was like Lee Short. Anyway.
That's how I felt going into the show, even though it wasn't improv. Just knowing that you knew there were some special people in the audience, some friends and family that were there.
Yeah.
I knew you guys were both eager to impress and for people to love the show.
Yeah.
And I was pretty positive I was going to see some nerves out of you guys, but really, they weren't visible if they were there.
Yeah.
Mine were. I was in the audience just shivering with fear.
I was definitely nervous. I did forget my line twice in the show and then just kind of went with it. And then I found it.
It was great.
It happened. Thank you. Thank you again to everybody who came out. It was really, really fun.
Yeah.
And that was my last live performance as a 30-year-old.
One thing down, on to the next, baby.
This is my last Overcommitted podcast as a 30-year-old.
It's going to come out the day before your birthday.
Yep.
That's crazy. How are you feeling about 40, champ?
Let's move on.
There's nothing bad about 40, man. I've been here for a year already.
I didn't care.
That's right, everybody. I am what you would call a cougar.
Cougar town over here. I remember not caring about 30 at all.
I liked 30.
Yeah, 30. I just didn't care one way or another. To me,
Sure.
It was just another birthday. It was a really fun birthday celebration, but it was just like, okay, yeah, I'm 30 now.
I felt like 30 gave you some gravitas.
Did it?
Not
did
you.
it?
No, not you, but I mean like...
Me, no.
I felt that way. I felt like, I can be taken seriously. I'm 30.
Yeah.
Which is, unfair to 20-year-old me, but she deserves it. She was not.
She knows what she did.
She shouldn't have been taken seriously.
Yeah, I didn't care about 30, and then I didn't care about any of the 30s. At
35,
all. Like it wasn't like I hit 35 and I was like, oh my God, 30, 35, like, yeah, it didn't hit me and like, ugh. I didn't care 30, like 7, 8. It was just like, whatever. 39 even.
Yeah.
Didn't care.
Yeah.
And then I was at the gym earlier this week, and I just finished my run. I was like walking, doing my cool down. I haven't been working out much because of the show, the live show.
Just been so busy.
I've been like, so busy doing a million things besides getting ready for the show, in addition to getting ready for the show.
Right.
And I was at the gym. I had a run. I was cooling down, and I was like, you're getting old. Like, it just hit me real hard. And I've been kind of, I'm definitely having feelings about it.
I get it.
40.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I had some big feelings right around the time.
Yeah.
You know, nothing like major, just like, this feels heavy.
I'm surprised I'm having big feelings about it because, as you said, you're over 40.
Sure.
Evan,
most of our friends
my business
are over 40.
party is over 40. And to make things simpler, I've been saying for the better part of this last year, I'm 40.
Sure.
I've just been saying it's just easier.
Yeah,
well,
but
we're 40, blah, blah, blah. I'll say that a lot, especially on Dumb Dad Podcast or on lives and stuff like that with Evan.
That's not true. You most of the time say, I'm not 40 yet. This old man is 40.
But lately I have been saying we're 40 or we're close to, in the show I say close to 40.
Sure.
But now I'm like, now that it's here and it's real.
Yeah.
I got to deal with that.
I know. I feel like you hear a lot of things of like things start to go down at 40,
Yeah.
Women can't gain muscle as well after 40 is a thing. Perimenopause is coming. What happens to you at 40? Nothing. You're fine.
When do I start losing muscle? 50?
Never, I think.
Oh, cool.
You just gain muscle cars.
According to Sylvester Stallone, never.
No, I don't. I'm sure men do. It might be. Actually, I think everyone maybe. But they do say women specifically have a much harder time. That's why I've been pumping so much iron.
You've been going for it.
I've been going for it. You have to pick up some midlife crisis activities. That's the thing. It took me a while, but now I'm considering running a marathon. I just picked up tennis. You need some midlife crisis activities to start honing in on.
We currently have 3 pickleball sets. We haven't touched any of them.
I know.
But we have 3 pickleball sets. We bought one, and then you got one in like a subscription pack.
Fun box, not sponsored.
And then the Dumb Dads did something for Despicable Me 4, and we got a
Despicable
Me 4 pickleball set.
We're giving those away, I think.
We are giving that away.
Yeah.
But it's life telling me this is going to be my midlife crisis thing.
I keep hearing
What's your midlife crisis thing?
Is not very athletic.
I don't think it is.
I was at the tennis courts the other night taking my first lesson, and there were men playing pickleball, and they were pretty aggressive, I thought, with it. Maybe not as aggressive as like tennis.
I think that's the point. It's not as aggressive as tennis.
It was still definitely like,
sure.
I'm sure they were working out. Mm-hmm. Sure they were getting a sweat on.
Hey, man. Going for a walk
and
elevate your heart rate.
Heat wave in LA, so.
It is another heat wave.
You walk your dog and you're getting your sweat on.
What do you think your midlife crisis is going to be? Or activity?
What do you mean? I already said it. I've just taken up tennis.
Tennis? That's true.
I'm deeply considering running a marathon.
Yeah, I guess that's...
A marathon for
the first time? Are you going to be a marathoner?
Time? No. I don't think so.
I feel like I
don't even know if I'm going to be a single marathoner. I have run 2 half marathons several years ago.
You did great on both of them.
I finished them.
But you did great on both of them.
I ran slow.
You were slow.
I'm a slow runner.
You were slow, but it wasn't like you cashed out at mile 8 and then you walked for the rest of it.
No, I ran both.
Yeah.
And
you did great.
I sort of hate running, but I don't know. There's just something about it, the challenge, that I'm kind of thinking about doing a marathon. We'll see if my legs can handle it. I'm not going to like commit to it. I'm just going to start doing the training and see where it takes me. And if it just takes me to another half marathon, that's fine.
Okay.
And then once I get past the half marathon, if I'm still feeling good, then I'll probably like make a big deal out of it and trying to make content out of it, or like
try to make money off this.
Try to make money off this situation. No, I'll probably try to raise money or something for it, but
sure.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm just not that confident that 1, my legs are gonna do it, or 2, I'm gonna like really care to stick with it, because if we are being honest, I really don't particularly enjoy running that much.
That makes no sense.
I enjoy a challenge.
Doesn't matter. If you don't enjoy running and you want to run 26.2 miles, that doesn't make any sense.
I never said it did. I said it was a midlife crisis.
Okay.
A lot of things I do don't make sense.
Okay. That's a fair point.
Yeah. And you have to figure out yours. It can't just be pickleball. It has to be something more absurd. You should take pole dancing classes.
I mean, the cliche, but I'm just so, I want to say I'm a lazy person.
You're definitely not.
I know I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I feel like a lazy person.
Sure.
The cliche, I have a Traeger.
Oh, start really grilling some meats, some smoking.
But it is the reason why I'm hesitant to even say that that's going to be a thing. I love smoking meat.
I don't think it's enough.
But a lot of it is like you got to start at 8 a.m.
Yeah, but you can't just.
And I'm like, I'm not interested in that.
Take up making a meat for the family. It has to be like you're going to start entering some competitions or something.
Well, first I got to, I don't know, what is it? Brine it. Oh, try this brine and inject it with stuff. Your mom gave me a book years ago that was so wildly irrelevant, but I didn't throw it away.
We were living in New York.
We were living in New York. I had a little.
Oh, we did have a little grill.
We had a little gas propane
grill type thing
for camping. It's a small one that folds up. And your mom very sweetly got me a barbecue book, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And like opened it and was like, "Nope, like none of this." But now, because I'm a hoarder, we both kind of are. We just don't let go of things. Full circle, baby. That book is irrelevant now.
Yeah.
I think I might flip it. I don't know what you're right. I don't know about pole dancing.
Well, we can't afford a sports car, and I'd rather you didn't cheat on me.
So you don't. You
personal preference. I'd prefer you did not find a younger woman.
But it's not off the table. You said prefer.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. That's awful. I'm not doing.
I was trying to think of a joke
like that
to
joke.
make this better.
I don't like it. I would never do a sports car. Ever since I was young, you see somebody with a sports car who's an older man, you're just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Whatever's going on.
What about a motorcycle? I'm really hoping your answer is good here.
You know what?
No.
Hold on.
The look in your eyes is, I don't like it.
No, here's the thing. I think that.
You're too tall for a motorcycle, I think.
No, probably more control, actually. I probably have better leverage. I will say it probably won't happen. It won't happen.
It won't happen.
It won't happen. That is a window that is like closed for me.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely scared of motorcycles.
They're so dangerous. Sorry to all of our hog-loving listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys listening to Overcommitted on the open road on your Harleys.
I'm sure you're all very safe drivers. But if I knew you personally, I would worry about you a lot.
Something that's changed between my 20s to 30s, and I'll be interested to see what changes from my 30s to 40s. And this is a good thing, is I'm more scared of things.
Yeah. I love
I'm
that
more
for you.
aware of my mortality.
Yeah.
And a motorcycle is something that, like, it's not a regret, but it is like, man, I would have loved to have tried that.
Oh,
I have no interest in doing that now because I'm
glad
like,
to hear it.
I just think
maybe we could scratch that itch at like a, I don't know.
A track or something would be a cool way to, I would love to do that. But no, outside of that, like the highway, every time a motorcyclist passes me, I'm like, what is happening? LA, it's awful.
For me, that's like riding our bikes here. I know you are like, no, it's not too bad. But like, I have lost all interest in riding a bike on roads with drivers.
I think that's
since moving to LA. I never had much interest in New York, and we did it a lot. But I was a little bit freaked out. But it really felt like the drivers there were wild, but aware and like careful. Here, it feels like there's so much showboating, so much just completely reckless driving.
Yes, I agree completely.
It terrifies me going through an intersection on a bicycle.
I agree.
And I know I'm an overly careful person, but
you are. I think it's
no apology.
I also just think it's a muscle too, like mentally.
I have lots of muscles.
You are, because you pump an iron or over 40. I think it's a muscle because the more you do it, the more like that's like with anything. The more you do it, the more you're like, oh, this isn't that bad kind
I'm
of
sure.
thing.
I'm sure you develop your routes too, where you feel safe. You told me the other day you rode your bike and you took mostly bike lanes, and that would be
Oh, man.
helpful to know. But geez, it still scares me.
I want to say I really appreciate that Apple Maps has you can pick route your way there specifically for bicycle,
Yeah.
and it changes the route. If it was walking, it would be a straight shot. If it was car, it'd be different. And then bike, it was like, all right, you're going to go back roads the whole way, and then I'm going to dump you on the main road. And then when you're on the main road, you're going to be at bike lanes with parked cars between you and moving cars. I was like, oh, this is nice.
And I really appreciate location sharing because I was tracking you like a jealous wife the whole time.
You better be going to get paint. Color better not be some blonde.
More like his dot has stopped in the middle of an intersection. Oh no.
You have a problem with that?
I do not. Location sharing is the best thing that's ever happened.
It is the best. It's great. I've done it to you. I did it to you recently. You went out of the house to go shopping for the show.
Uh-huh.
To get something to wear for the show.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. And I was
You were
gone
gone for so long. You were gone for so long.
It was really not gone that long. I was gone like an hour and 15 minutes.
You were gone for so long that I used location sharing and then saw that you were still at the store, which was mind-blowing to me. Because like time went on and I was like, gosh, she's been gone a little while. And time went on and I was like, she's been a really long time.
Yeah.
And then when I pulled up my phone to check, I was so confident that you were going to be on the road.
Sure.
And you were still at the store. And I was like,
well, I went to a store called Home Goods. Sorry to
Uh-huh.
all the listeners who think that I'm
not
cool.
a sponsor, but we are open
God, I would
to
love
the
that.
concept.
I'm not a cool person, and I sometimes buy clothes at Home Goods because they get a lot of good clothes. I think they're like a Marshall's TJ Maxx vibe where they get like clothes from other vendors. I've gotten 2 Abercrombie dresses from there, and there's one within like a mile and a half of us.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else closed. I'm not going to a mall like after the kids go to bed. This was like after the kids went to bed or like at bedtime.
I put them to bed.
Yeah.
You left before they went
I
to
left
bed.
shortly before
I put
bedtime.
them to bed. The house was so quiet.
It's no
You were
time
gone.
to
I was
drive
"Where
like
is she?"
10 minutes to a mall and then walk around a mall. Like that's going to take forever. So I just went to Home Goods just kind of down the street. And
this could be your midlife crisis hobby.
God, I love
Getting
Home
everything at Home Goods.
But there's a lot to see there. And there's a lot of things in racks where they're not supposed to be. You can't trust the sizing. You're like, oh, there's not much in my size. Just check all the other sizes. There's probably some goods there. And so, I just got distracted. Stopped in the kids section, looked at some girls' clothes for our kid.
Check out some rugs.
I really didn't make my way over to the housewares. I was trying to be good.
Well, you were gone for a very long time.
I know. And then I tried on like 10 things and nothing looked good. And I came home sour.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I did get a cute pair of shoes.
Did get a cute pair of shoes. I said shoes weird.
Shares.
But I use location service to track you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a great feature.
It's so good.
But
otherwise, I would just be sending you texts all the time.
But
you
are unreasonable with it.
Mm-hmm.
You called me once in a fit because location service basically just didn't update, and I was in an intersection for like 5 minutes or something, which I wasn't.
I also called you while you were on tour. Evan was on the car. You put me on speaker, and I had to be cool because you were like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Well, I was mainly calling because your location shows that you're in the middle of a lake, and I just wanted to make sure that wasn't the case."
That's insane.
Which I pretty much knew, but I don't know. You're in the middle of nowhere. What if somebody murdered you, threw your body in a lake? Phone's still working.
I would have defeated them. They'd be in the lake.
It can be a little bit insane, but like it's just nice to be able to check. And then like on tour, I wasn't constantly being like, "Where are you now? Where are you now? Where are you now?" I can just see your little dot moving.
That was really funny.
I could wait for you to check in with me as you were able to.
It was funny because I was on tour, Chicago, St. Louis, Nashville, 5 days, 3 cities, and I'm only bringing that up because you were location sharing me quite a bit, and you are also encouraging me to go on a longer tour. And you've even said things like, I mean, if you need to be gone for a week, if that's what's best for the schedule, be gone for a week. You're going to be a mess.
No, I'm saying the location sharing makes me not a mess.
It doesn't?
No, because I'm constantly able to see where you are.
How often do you check my location? And oh my God, there's probably people listening to this. They're like, this is wild. Because there are some people that don't like location
Yeah, there
sharing.
are people that don't like it. I mean, I think you have to understand that I'm never checking where you are to really like check in on you as if like, are you lying about where you are?
Yeah.
That's not a concern at all. I'm checking in on you to make sure that you're alive in a car.
Usually I place my phone in a bag, like a waterproof bag, and I put it in a lake, and then I go to the strip club.
I'm assuming that would be after 10 p.m. and I'd be asleep and I wouldn't care.
Oh, because I'm considerate.
Because I'm got to be asleep by then. No.
How often does that happen, though? That, like, do you not call me, but, like, you see me in a weird place, and then you're like,
almost never.
Let me give it a minute, or do you immediately call me?
No, almost never. Well, usually it'll say last updated 7 minutes ago. So then I just give up on it and I check on it later.
Oh, okay.
Like if it's not updating, then I assume that that's just the app not working right, and then I'll give it a rest and not freak out. I mean, not usually freaked out in the moment. A lot of times too, it's like I'm checking to see like, oh, he's on his way home. Sweet, I can start the air fryer, or like,
yeah,
there are like practical reasons. It just makes it easier instead of having to send you a text, have you text me back in the car.
That's so funny. I'll never forgive you for.
Or if you're like out with people, I don't have to be like, are you on your way? Make you feel like I'm rushing you.
That's true.
I love that. That's an example. When are you ever? When do we go out?
I'm clubbing.
Occasionally you get to go out with
doing
friends,
bumps, doing bumps with the crew.
Yeah.
Getting wild. I'll never forgive you for the time, because this is where I was crazy about location sharing. You worked at a place called Sammy's.
Did we not have it then?
We did have it then.
You could see that I was still there?
No. Here's exactly what happened.
Okay.
We had location sharing. You and I spoke on the phone. Uh-huh. You were the manager at a place called Sammy's.
I was managing a pizza restaurant.
A sponsor, but we're open to it.
I don't even know if Sammy's. That one certainly isn't.
No, that one's not around. You were like the manager, right? Was it manager? Or was it shift leader? It was a manager. Yeah. Okay. So you're a manager there, which means you had to close down the place. So right. you got your work done. Everybody's gone, and then you called me to say you were calling me to say you were done working, and you were like locking up, and you're gonna come home.
Yeah.
Great. Sounds great. And then we talked for a minute, and then you're like, all right, I'm about to walk out the door, so I'll see you in a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll see you in a couple minutes. Love you, bye. And like a long time passed. And you were, sorry, I should clarify. You were walking distance to our apartment. It was maybe a 5-minute walk. It was so close to this restaurant.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer than 5 minutes, but.
And I had to walk home in the dark.
It was nighttime. You had to walk home in the dark. And yeah, I
know,
guys.
It wasn't far.
I know.
You could have come pick me up.
I could have picked her up. But this is a woman
put down the call of
who I met when I met her, she lived in Brooklyn, New York.
I'm tough. I got a taser.
She's fine. I feel I would walk her home to protect the other people, because she would destroy them.
Well, you have to walk to me without any protection.
I'd have to go. I'd have to hold her back and be like, "You get out of here, man.
You get out of here."
She doesn't need another trophy. Like a long time passed.
Yeah. And
I was like, where is she? Like, in my brain, I want to say half an hour. It could have been, but it was a long time. And then I remember I checked location services, and you were like halfway. And I remember being like, uh-oh. Like, did she walk out the door? In my brain, you were walking out the door.
Right. And then I had only made it halfway home.
Stabbed.
Sure.
And you were on the ground.
My body was in front of the post office.
But like something like, I don't know, you forgot something. You had to go back in.
Yeah. Well, that was one of those crazy jobs where you look back on it, you're like, why was that okay? Where like I had to like lock up, and then like you secure the like security system. I'm sure other people work at places like this, but it's like you secure the security system, and then you like press the buttons to start it, and then you have like 15 seconds to get out the door,
which is wild.
And then so you're making your way through like a dark restaurant to the door, and they're like, the only way you'll know if you don't make it is like there will be an alarm going off inside, but it's like kind of quiet. So like almost every night I would get to the door, close it, and then I would be like put my ear to the door and try to hear an alarm. And I think that night I felt like I heard it. So I ran back in to unsecure the security system or whatever, turn it off. Because if the alarm goes off, the police come.
As they should.
And apparently that had happened to another manager where like she was called after hours and like the police are at the restaurant.
What a dumb design.
It's so
you just
stupid.
you call one electrician and you go, "Can you move this box to the door?"
Yeah, it was like inside the kitchen. You had to make your way through a kitchen and a dining room in the dark.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's out of business. Again, open to
think
sponsorship
that's what happened that
though.
night, but I don't know. Anyone who's ever worked in a restaurant knows you're like never really done at the end of the night. You gotta finish things up.
Yeah.
So I was lying, is what I'm saying. And I'm glad you had location sharing. And I'm surprised you didn't run down the street when you saw my dot there.
I might have called you.
I think you did. And I was like, I'm in the elevator, chill out.
I was like, "You chill out. Don't ever say I'm walking out the door and then chill for a half hour at the strip club."
Sorry.
Anyway, 40 is happening.
Anyway, you're 40.
I'm not 40.
You're 40 tomorrow.
Even when this gets released, I won't be 40.
Tomorrow.
The tomorrow of the day that this releases,
Yeah,
I will be 40.
I'm talking ahead of time.
Yeah, October 12th. I used to be really proud. This is America. The failure that is American teaching.
Okay.
I was really so.
We love our teachers, but okay.
Yeah, we love our teachers. It's the curriculum. It's not the teachers. So Columbus Day is celebrated around my birthday. It's whatever that Monday is.
Yeah, it was.
So
I say this like I'm angry.
actual Columbus Day is October 12th, which is my birthday.
Uh-huh.
And I hung my hat on that for years.
Oh, really? You were
I
like,
was so
me and
proud.
Christopher.
I was like, "Oh, is it my birthday? I guess we get a 3-day weekend."
Oh, I thought you were being like, I guess like me and my pal discovered America.
Well, I never had a negative thing to say about him.
Sure
my book, he gave me a 3-day weekend. I thought the guy was all right. And now...
Well, yeah, also he bumped into America and discovered it, and we were pretty proud of that fact for years.
Yeah.
Until we maybe learned a little bit better.
Yep. And then...
It's wild to think about this. Christopher Columbus drawings I colored in as a 6-year-old, how much we were like...
I was about to say deep in my 20s, but I don't even think it was that.
You were
think
coloring Christopher Columbus in your 20s?
Last week I was. I'm not talking about that. I love coloring a colonial. It's just I like to take a yellow color pencil and then outline the belt buckles, the buckles on their hat, and just get that really nice.
Wow.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that part.
Sure.
But I think it's probably my 30s when I found out he wasn't on the level at all.
Well, it's funny you bring that up though, because I was certain that our kids had off next Monday for Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. And now there's like nothing on the books, which I feel like I'm really coming off as like a Christopher Columbus enthusiast. I'm not, but I did grow up with Columbus Day being off. I could have sworn. And then I thought we changed it to Indigenous Peoples Day and we still got off.
Our kids don't have it off.
No,
that's what I hung my hat on, is that we always had Columbus Day off. Yeah. Always. And I was so proud of that.
This has nothing to do with the man. I just want a 3-day weekend in October.
Oh, man.
You know? If we could move it to Halloween, that'd be another great time to get a 3-day weekend.
See, this is why people fight to keep their statues.
No.
They're wrong. They're wrong. Get rid of any statues. Also, who cares about anything? But
it's for the 3-day weekend?
Yeah, because once you start taking away 3-day weekends, I get why you're like, give me my statues because that's my 3-day weekend.
No, I don't understand this logic at all.
No, it's because it's Columbus. Is Columbus still in Columbus Square in New York? Columbus Circle? I
don't know. Is there a statue of Columbus there? On a horse?
Yeah, it's super tall.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it got terribly graffitied.
I don't know. As well it should.
That's a bummer. It's not a 3-day weekend anymore. I guess I don't care. I'm not in school anymore.
No, but I work a job that's...
You have a job?
Yeah, I would love to have off.
Congrats.
You make your own hours, but...
I do make my own hours.
Here's one question I have for you regarding 40. Do you have any other milestones that mean something to you like that? Like I was thinking,
Explain.
like in you were like my 30s didn't really mean much. Like 30 didn't mean much. Nothing
Yeah.
else meant much. For some reason, like 38 meant something to me because my mom. You brought up my mom. She's no longer with us.
Yeah.
She had me when she was 38.
Did you say, do you remember my mom?
No, I said
Would-
you brought up my mom. I
Oh.
think. Oh my god.
You remember my mom? I was like, yeah, I think.
Oh my god.
Carol? Is it Carol?
Oh my
Yes,
god.
I do. Sorry. I
Anyway.
really thought you were like, my mom. You remember my mom? I was like, oh, okay.
She was 38 when she had me. So like 38 felt like weird not having her here.
Sure.
And I'm 38. I had her at the age where she became a mom.
I couldn't do that, by the way. My dad must have been.
Well, not that specific one. That's like specific to my mom. She's no longer with me.
I know.
I get it. Yeah, your parents had you when they were babies.
In their 20s.
Anyway, I was trying to think of another one. There wasn't a second example that I was thinking of that felt
Really?
like, whoa. Yeah, but I don't know what it was. My dad had me when he was 41, which I currently am 41. But that doesn't mean as much.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
He could have kids today because the human body doesn't make sense.
That's true. Do you have any other numbers that you're like me? Oh, well, I was thinking too. We're about to reach being together longer than we weren't together.
Yeah, 42 will be it for me.
So 43 for me.
Yeah. Started dating when I was 21.
Yeah.
So when I hit 42.
I think we're about to officially know each other for longer, but we weren't dating. And soon we'll have been together for.
Yeah. 41 will be not a tie. 42, I guess, will be. No, 42 will be when we pass it because I was 21. So I guess technically 20 years before I didn't know you. So yeah.
That's another big milestone. Do you have any other dates like you feel like that you're like looking out for? I mean, 50 obviously will be a big one.
I have a not fun one.
Okay.
Your mom passed at 69.
Oh, sure.
My grandmother passed at 69.
Oh, so 69 to be a weird one.
69 would be a weird one.
My dad did that a lot. He'd like every year he kind of would be like, well, this is the year my father died, so I've officially made it longer than
He
him.
did do that. I think he was living with us when that
Yeah,
happened.
I think he was. I think he was like 78 or something, and now he's 82. Hold on. 78.
Pearl Harbor, he was
82.
5.
He turns 82 on yesterday, according to when this podcast comes
Oh,
out.
gotcha.
Nope. Wednesday. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He turns 82 this week.
Yeah, 69 sat in my head pretty regularly. But no,
So you do remember my mom.
Yeah. It's coming back now.
Oh.
Um,
I hope people don't mind my laughing. Grief is a weird animal, and
it's just a reality.
yeah,
Is what it is.
it's been 10
which
years.
I am coming to grips with.
Because you're grieving your 30s.
Not grieving my 30s, but I mean, God, let's talk about it. We just watched Inside Out 2.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't handle. Sorry, we just watched Inside Out 2 for the second time.
Yeah.
Saw it in theaters.
And what did you do
I
when
didn't
the credits
handle.
rolled?
I didn't handle the ending well.
No.
Started crying, and I remember. I mean, I remember having feelings when I saw it in the theater. But I was like, oof, wow. I thought I was going to get wrecked by that movie.
You handled it like a dad, too. You started crying, and then you walked to the kitchen. And I hope you don't mind. I was like, kids, go see your father. Because I do think it's important kids see you cry. They certainly see me cry. I mean, just at the drop of a hat, I cry.
You do cry a lot.
And I want them to see you cry. I didn't see my dad cry
I know.
at all as a kid. There was like one time I remember him crying during a movie, and I was like, no one knew what to do.
I mean, we can talk about the funniest time he cried in history.
Yeah,
of
he
crying.
cried at our wedding.
He
It wasn't
just
at our wedding.
flown in. He was jet lagged,
Yeah.
and he started telling a story. It doesn't matter what it was, but then he started laughing hysterically. That you and I both were like, "Holy smokes!"
Yeah, never. I mean, I've seen him laugh that hard, but it was like wild, hysterical laughter.
hysterical laughter I'd never seen from him.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, "This is a treat." And then it turned into molded from hysterically laughing into bawling his eyes out,
You just start crying. Yeah.
and then mentioned something sad, but it was also like something vague. You know what I mean? Like, or just like, not vague. It wasn't vague. It was just like so long ago that it was like, why would that make you cry right
Yeah.
now? And then you're like, Dad, are you jet lagged? And he went, I think so.
Yeah.
He said it like
Are you tired?
such
A little boy.
a little boy moment.
Yeah.
I know I'm bad about it. I'm not ashamed of it. I tell my kids that I cry.
Uh-huh.
I tell them I get emotional. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like
It's different for them to
I know
see
I want
it, though.
I know.
Yeah.
And you're right. And I don't know if it's like my Irish Catholic upbringing
Yeah.
or whatever. I've seen my dad cry, but
did you see it when you were little?
only from like death.
Sure.
But
I mean, that's good.
No, it's
funny
good.
to me that like my dad, I was around him when his mother died, and I was around him when his sister died, and I don't think he cried until he saw this movie, which definitely made him think of his like grief.
Sure.
And brought up those feelings, but it was so strange to be like, this is the moment you're crying.
Yeah.
But that's how it comes out sometimes.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the kids should see me cry, but yeah, my instinct is to be like, leave the room.
Especially in moments like that where it's like, if you were having like a real moment, a real painful moment, a real scared moment, like whatever, obviously I'd give you privacy. But when it's like the end of Inside Out 2.
That's the end of a cartoon.
Yeah. I'm sure you were having real feelings related to the movie. But they can see you cry in that moment and should.
Well, it getting old.
Brought back memories.
Well, it was complicated. It was like it was a 5-layer dip of feelings.
Ooh, not 7.
Not 7, no, just 5. After 5, you're just trying too hard.
I love a 7-layer dip.
I think I'm thinking of a dessert.
Okay.
And not the like guacamole nightmare thing.
It's not a nightmare.
I'm sure it's delicious. I'm talking about one that's like chocolate pudding and then like, I don't know, cookie crumbles or whatever, whipped cream.
My mom used to call it thing in a bowl.
Thing in a bowl.
I don't think that's what most people call it.
It is if you don't know what it's called.
Hers was a strawberries, whipped cream, and pound cake.
Oh, okay. That's a strawberry shortcake.
But there's a chocolate version.
Okay.
Anyway.
Mine was like, so I suffered some anxiety attacks almost 2 years ago. They are starting to creep back in.
Yeah, I mean, you have anxiety occasionally. Like it's not like
I
it's
have anxiety.
gone.
Yeah.
But you had a couple bad attacks.
I had a couple bad attacks
ago.
like 2 years ago. So like I'm very familiar with anxiety. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Inside Out 2, but she has an anxiety attack. And as somebody who's had them, incredibly well animated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird thing to say, but it was like spot on. Everything she was doing, her little ticks, everything. I was like, oh man, that's exactly correct. Exactly how I did it, how it went through, like how I reacted to it. So I had a reaction to that. So I was having feelings about that, about my anxiety. And then, but it was, the movie's about a little girl. And that I have a little girl and a son. And then the movie ends with like her and her hopes and dreams. And then I just thought of my kids with on top of my own anxiety. And it was just like cup runneth over. And then I got really emotional.
Yeah.
So I'm getting old, and that's what happens to old people. And then I left the room.
It's not what happens when you're old. It's what happens.
Then I left the room because they will not see a man cry.
Yes, they will.
Damn
I
it.
sent them into the kitchen to find you. Go see Daddy. Look at his eyes.
It's weird. It's weird. It is funny. I
also just don't want our kids to be like, Mom cries all the time. Dad never. I don't know. It's just weird, you know?
It is weird.
And I do cry all the time. Like, and I admit it, and it's fine. My emotions are at the surface.
Oh, yeah. You and I have nights every once in a while where we're just on the couch on our phones after the kids have gone to bed.
We did this last
and then
night.
I look over and you've got the fattest bottom lip. And you went, that's really nice. That's really nice.
I showed you a video of
I
this
was like,
woman who
oh,
got
okay.
married, and her spouse had like planned for her to like
Her father had passed.
her father had passed, and her spouse had planned for like every important man in her life to come and dance with her. So like she was just dancing with her brother, and then each like dude took over.
Her childhood best friend's dad. And,
and her childhood best friend, and her like brother's best friend, and it was just so sweet. And I know you were like looking down, you looked up at me, and like my eyes were full wells of tears.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, what is it?
I found out from literally looking over, and you had a fat lip, and you. That was really nice. It was really nice. I was like, okay.
It was really nice.
Yeah. I should cry in front of the kids more. You know.
It
is
don't
a reaction.
Force it, but
I can't force it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm Irish Catholic and also not a very good actor. I'm okay.
But your eyes well up with tears
A lot.
fairly regularly.
Yes, but that's the thing. It's like, and I'm sure my parents listen to this podcast.
And you
Don't feel
back
bad. It's not you. But there is something, I don't know, there is something about like shoving it down for like, I don't know if it's like, I don't even think it's like, I'm sure if you get into the nitty gritty of it, it is like a man doesn't kind of thing. But it also part of it is like, it's not your problem. I'm going through something. Sorry about that. You know what I mean? I don't want to inconvenience you with my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
What a terrible thing to do. So I think it's partly that, and it's something I got to work on. Like, we talk openly to our kids about everything.
Yeah.
And like I said, I talk to them about crying. I talk to them about insecurity. So we're definitely that. All of us parents today are at that stage where we're sharing more. Mm-hmm. We're sharing more about ourselves.
Yeah.
I was upset about earlier. I handled that wrong. Whatever. Like really connecting so that they understand like we're complicated humans who are flawed and blah blah. But yeah, I'll still like I gotta leave the room. I'm not feeling good. Or just like swallow that lump. Instead of maybe that's why 69 is just like burying my feelings. So it's like, I gotta let it out or I'm not gonna make it.
It makes me think of, and like, listen, we are not studied at all on parenting. Sorry, we're not.
What do you mean?
Read the books. I don't know. We don't read a lot of literature. Like we pay attention to social media accounts because it's like kind of in our wheelhouse and what we do. But like, we could probably afford to read a book here and there. I mean, I occasionally listen to other podcasts, like real podcasts or like real, parenting
psychologists and stuff.
But we, do ascribe to like some of the gentle parenting kind of ideals. I don't really know. I don't really know if we are or not. But some of the parenting creators I've listened to have talked about, like really sitting with your kid in their feelings.
Yeah.
Like never leaving them alone. When they're mad at you, I'll be here when you're ready.
Yeah.
But I'm here in the room with you if possible. If you're sad, I'm not going to cheer you up. I'm going to sit with you in this feeling.
Yeah.
My job isn't to change the feeling. My job is to support you through it kind of vibes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any of that right. So please, and you don't need to at me either if I'm wrong, because I like it.
Let us have this.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just my version of parenting, because it also feels very reminiscent to the way that my mom parented me without ever having also she probably read a book. She is more well-read than I am, but
TV wasn't that good back then.
She
maybe you had to wait for it. So yeah,
certainly
she read
gentle
more.
Parenting wasn't, I don't think, around in the 80s and 90s, but she was very much that parent that was there with me through the feelings and would allow me to feel the sadness. As she very much had a mom that like would be like, "You're sad, let's eat," and she explored like eating as a way of coping with feelings. So I think she was very aware of like no coping. We deal, we sit with it, we support each other.
Yeah.
There's no turning it off. There's just like feel the feelings and like live with it. So I don't know, to me, where you're like, when I'm crying, I feel like this isn't anyone else's problems.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it is though. And I want our kids to know, like, not only is it my problem when you're sad and I want to be there with you.
Well, yeah, because you have to fix it.
But I'm not going to fix it. I'm just going to sit there with it.
You need to fix me.
But I also want them to know that when their friends are sad,
yes,
be there.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me.
Don't avoid it. If your friend gets like hurt on the playground, don't run away from it unless they want privacy or whatever. But
Yeah.
You know, and I want them to know that with you and with me. Like, if I'm feeling sad, it's okay to just come and sit with me. And you don't have to fix it. You can just be here with me. And
I know. We're all fixers.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if any of that's correct or whatever, but it feels right, which that's what parenting's about.
Yeah. I know that it's weird. I think a lot about it's weird, but I think a lot about Bill Burr.
I think about Bill Burr a lot too.
Good. No, only because like he's a Boston comic and I'm not an angry person. He's an angry man.
Mm-hmm.
But he does point out his flaws.
Yeah.
And I think one of them is being like kind of a not your problem kind of guy. And he
Sure.
said stuff like that before. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Same.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't think I emote as much as I should. I just kind of stoic. I don't know.
I don't think you have to change who you are at all.
I don't think so either. I think I just don't leave the room.
As long as you're okay with me sending the kids into the kitchen, you know?
Yeah, I guess that could be good.
Yeah.
It's just funny that I did leave the room. And it was.
It is funny that you left the room.
I was like, well, I'm going to cry.
I think when we went in there, it's not like you started doing dishes or anything.
I still
you were just standing there.
Yeah, I just needed to swallow a lump. That's the worst part. I didn't even leave the room to cry.
Uh-huh.
I left the room to be like, get it together. You
You're
loser.
slapping yourself in the face. Stupid.
World War II. And then
Christopher Columbus.
World War II. I'm back.
Well.
Whatever. 40s next week.
I think this is probably a good place to leave it.
I think it's a good place to leave it. And
happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'm so lucky to get to do life with you. I think people hate that phrase, do life, but
what are you supposed to say?
Live, laugh, love. I'm so happy to live, laugh, love with you.
Eat,
pray, love.
Eat, pray, love, eat, play, and laugh. That's Dave and Buster's.
Is it?
Something like that.
Wow.
Eat, laugh, play, I think it is.
That's great then. I'm so happy to eat, laugh, and play with you. Eat, laugh, play.
Dave and Buster with you all day. Not a sponsor, but we're open to it.
How many potential sponsors do we rack up in this
keep doing
podcast?
it until it happens.
One of these days. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. Feel free to wish Kevin happy birthday on his socials tomorrow. He's at KevLaugh
and at the
Dumb Dads. And I'm at Annie LaFerrier at Annie.LaFerrier on TikTok. Mm-hmm. Please rate and review us. We've gotten a couple amazing reviews.
Guys,
you guys are
thank you so much.
making me feel so happy.
Yeah. It's really, really sweet. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So if you are listening to this and you're like, oh, I haven't done it yet, do it.
Do it.
Make me happy
You're
this
so
week.
Nice.
Say happy birthday to Kevin in your review.
Or just write a review.
Or just write a review and rate 5
or you
stars.
Can say happy birthday. That's fine too.
Okay.
5 stars and a happy birthday. It's also a nice birthday present.
Yeah. That's all you need. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Love you. Happy
Love you.
birthday.
Thanks. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.